Andor's Andor, 3-episode premiere, streaming September 21st.
Fiona, it's a pleasure to talk to you today.
Hi, Nigel. Where are you?
Where am I?
Yeah.
Home. With all my safe and collectibles, and obviously where all the dollars go towards. Marva, the Queen of Ferrets. I'm saying that because that's what I was told by Adira earlier as how Bix looks at Marva. I would love to know, was Marva always from Ferrets? And how did she sort of step into this leader role within the community that we see her in now?
Well, I suppose, Marva, I'm very glad that she thinks she's the Queen of Ferrets, but I don't think the word queen would be in it. But she is, in that she's part of a community and everybody loves her. But they love her because she believes in the community. I think actually she's quite an anonymous person who works very hard, not very well off, has made her living by buying and selling bits of spacecrafts that she's reused, recycled, sold on, like a secondhand car salesman or, somebody who's remaking or recycling. So but I feel she's very much a person who believes in community, and she says it. She really says it. But she's, of course, by now, when we meet her, she's very old and she's a sort of elder of that community. And she's a rather sick elder. So people are beginning to look after her. And that's saying somebody quite old, who then we meet quite young when she was a sort of swashbuckling pirate who goes around the universe collecting bits of machinery. So she's lived a good life, but she's respected because I think she's honorable.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love that answer. Now, listen, the title of the series is Andor, and a lot of people may not know, but Marva's whole name is Maarva Andor, which I started to think really deep in this. I said, well, easily this could have just been called Cassian, since this seems to be, circled around Cassian. But since it is called Andor, it makes me think, well, how much of the story is actually about Marva then?
Yeah, well, just watch and enjoy. Marva isn't there just as a decoration on the edge, but I think in many ways, whatever her part in the plot, and it is very interesting, her part in the plot, is that she is also maybe the stabilizing moral force that finally goes through Cassian's rather lost journey as he tries to grapple with what it is to be good, to be bad, to be ordinary, to be honorable. She's definitely very honorable, but she's only brought him up, since he was 10. So maybe he is still not entirely yielding to this mother he's got. She's his adoptive mother.
Okay, that brings me to my next question here. Stepping into that mother role for Cassian, how much of Marva would you say is instilled in the Cassian we see now?
I think obviously not enough. But later, and I'm probably speaking on behalf of many mothers, not enough. But eventually, I'm sure it will be the thing that most organizes his moral universe.
Okay. Okay. Now, in The Mandalorian, we got introduced to Grogu, which is like the phenomenon of merchandising and all sorts of things. Everywhere you go, I have a few Grogu shirts myself. Wherever you go, you see Grogu. We get introduced to B now, which happens to be, I feel, the next one up, what happens to be sort of your companion. What was your thoughts about the design of B and knowing how close Marva will be attached to B?
Well, yeah, B is my droid. And, it's very interesting to have a droid. Of course, I look forward to a time when even within our lifetime, I hope we all have droids. But this droid has got, is cheeky, is like a dog, an old dog, in that the droid is as old as Marva. So she's had the droid, and who looks very shiny in her earlier life. She's had the droid all her life, and very shiny and able to do things and supply things. But now this droid can barely stay awake and keeps on having to be plugged in, very much like a dog that needs. So, but what a wonderful world where we can have droids who can answer every question, can tell you what the menu is. Oh, I think we nearly have that, haven't we? And we nearly got it in our telephones. We're only 1 inch away from droids, I think. So she has a droid, yeah.
I love the dynamic between Marva and B, where Marva is kind of instructing B to like, hey, keep your mouth closed. Don't let them intimidate you. And B's just like,
And I love that B finds it very hard to tell lies.
Exactly.
It's got a lot of effort to lie.
Yeah. Exactly. I swear everybody's going to love B once this is released. For my final question here now, Marva, as I said, really respected within the community affairs, seemed to be a big part in helping orchestrate the rebellion there. But how would you say Marva is apart from somebody other than somebody like Luthien? Like, how is her fight different?
I think Marva's like a lot of people for whom history is the prick, the provocation, because she doesn't want to have a revolution. People just want to get on and live their lives and do well. But if the empire or any ruling force takes everything away from you and undermines you repeatedly, then finally a force within your own stomach is ignited. And this happens with Marva, that she can't stand it anymore, can't stand the wrongs that are being done. And, God knows we live in a world where that has happened. And, the reckonings are starting, and it's a good thing.
You have nailed it with all of my questions. And that last sentiment is excellent. I said the same thing in prepping for my review, that there's a lot of very similar dualities in our own actual life right now that is happening in this series. And it is fantastic so far. And I really can't wait to check out the rest of the series. Fiona, it's been a pleasure to talk to you today about your character, Marva, as being billed the Queen of Ferrets. And I can't wait for the rest of the world to check it out.
Thank you very much. Lovely to meet you.
Bye-bye.